In the early 2000s, as the world reeled from the aftermath of 9/11, airlines were scrambling to stay afloat. Passenger numbers plummeted, and jet fuel prices, already a major expense, were about to skyrocket. But one airline not only survived, it thrived. Ryanair, the Irish budget carrier, made a bold bet that saved them millions of dollars and gave them a competitive edge for years to come. They weren't lucky, they were prepared. This wasn't about penny pinching on costs or ramping up ancillary revenue, although that was part of it. It was about fuel hedging, a high-stakes financial strategy that can make or break an airline. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of airline fuel hedging, how it works, when it pays off, and when it turns into an absolute disaster. Let's start with the basics. Airlines burn a lot of fuel, enough that it often accounts for sometimes up to 50% of their operating costs. And fuel prices, as you'll know from your regular visits to the gas station, they're volatile. Political events, economic swings, and even weather can send prices soaring or crashing overnight. Fuel hedging is a financial strategy airlines use to manage this uncertainty. Essentially, it's a bet. Airlines agree to buy fuel at a fixed price for a certain period, locking in their costs regardless of market fluctuations. Think of it like locking in the price of coffee at your local shop for a year. If coffee prices go up, you're saving money. If prices drop, you're stuck paying more than everyone else. Back to Ryanair. In the wake of 9/11, jet fuel prices were at historic lows, but demand had collapsed. Most airlines were struggling just to survive in the day-to-day and didn't think much about the future. Ryanair saw an opportunity. They hedged aggressively, locking in low fuel prices for several years. When oil prices started climbing in the mid-2000s, eventually hitting eye-watering record highs of $147 per barrel in 2008, Ryanair was shielded. While their competitors were grappling with skyrocketing costs, Ryanair kept their fuel expenses stable, allowing them to keep fares low and attract even more passengers. The result? They gained a massive competitive advantage, expanding their route network, gobbling up precious market share, and cementing their reputation as Europe's leading low-cost airline. But hedging isn't always a win. It's a double-edged sword, and for every Ryanair success story, there's an example of an airline getting it badly wrong. Consider Southwest Airlines, another hedging champion. For years, they locked in low fuel prices and saved billions of dollars. But when oil prices crashed in 2015, their hedges became a liability, forcing them to pay above market prices, while competitors reaped the benefits of cheaper fuel. Worse still was the case of China Eastern Airlines during the 2008 financial crisis. The airline had bet on rising oil prices, hedging heavily just before prices plummeted. They lost $1 billion in a single year, a devastating blow that even forced them to seek government assistance. So, why do airlines hedge if it's so risky? It all comes down to stability. For airlines, unpredictability is the enemy. Stable fuel costs allow them to plan better, set ticket prices with confidence, and avoid sudden financial shocks. But hedging isn't a guarantee of savings. It's a gamble. When it works, airlines get protection from fuel price spikes and have predictable budgeting for long-term planning. They also benefit from a competitive advantage in volatile markets, much needed in a cutthroat industry where margins are razor-thin. But when it goes sideways, the consequences are brutal. An airline can end up locking in high prices if the oil market crashes. Remember, fuel can be up to half an airline's cost base, so if the market moves against the hedge, it goes wrong very fast. Not helpful in an industry notorious for financial failure. The Ryanair story is just one example. Airlines around the world have had their share of wins and losses with hedging. Consider Delta Airlines. In 2012, Delta made headlines when it purchased an oil refinery in Pennsylvania to gain more control over fuel costs. It was a bold move, but the refinery struggled with profitability, and the airline faced criticism for stepping too far outside its core business. And what about Singapore Airlines? Known for its conservative approach, Singapore Airlines hedged heavily in the 2010s. While they avoided major disasters, they missed out on some savings when oil prices fell sharply. And who can forget the mercurial Norwegian Air? The low-cost carrier suffered heavy losses in 2018 after locking in high fuel prices just before a significant market drop. Combined with other financial pressures, it pushed the airline to the brink of bankruptcy. As the aviation industry shifts towards sustainability, fuel hedging strategies are evolving. Airlines are now looking at hedging not just jet fuel, but also sustainable aviation fuels, or SAF, which are expected to play a major role in reducing emissions. However, SAF is still expensive and less widely available, making hedging even more complex. Add to this the uncertainties around global politics, economic recovery, and climate policies, and the stakes for hedging have never been higher. Fuel hedging is one of the most high-stakes aspects of the airline business. It's a delicate balance of risk and reward, a strategy that can save billions or cost billions. Ryanair's bold bet after 9/11 is a testament to the power of smart hedging. But as history shows, even the best-laid plans can backfire. So the next time you board a flight, remember, behind the scenes, your airline may be playing a financial game of chess with global fuel markets. And whether they win or lose could determine their survival. And if you found this fascinating, click here to check out this video on how an olive, yes, an olive, ended up saving an airline millions of dollars. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.